Hi, everyone. This is James Patrick from the Forum Celebrity Podcast. And Florence, Carmela, my partner, and I wanted to do a quick video. Thanks for all the support in the Gabby Petito videos. You can check them out on our page on Jampa Media. And we really appreciate it. And a lot of you have asked us to do some videos on Alec Baldwin situations. I think the reason why so many people are complimenting us is that we do like facts. We're not into the crazy conspiracies that some of these people come up with. And while they're fun and interesting, we're more into actually what happens. So we're very fact-based, and we have our own opinions, but we also make sure that we try to give as many facts as possible. Shout out to my sister Janine and all her crew up in Sacramento Kaiser. I believe they're on the south side. So south side, props to the south side, not west side, but the south side. Hope you guys are doing great, and thanks for the support. Let's get right into it. Now, yesterday was the press conference, and the first thing that we need to talk about is, wow, if this was in LA, Florida, or Texas, or some crazy place, they probably would be just talking to people. But so many celebrities have gotten away with stuff, especially in Southern California, because of the weirdness people have with celebrities. OJ, I mean, let's not even get started with there, but there's been car wrecks where people have been killed. And it's just amazing that celebrities get off these cases where a regular person will be doing time. So, but anyway, this is New Mexico. And is when this happened, the sheriff created a crime scene. And that's what you should have done. This should have been done months ago with the Gabby Petito situation. They got search warrants immediately. They made it a crime scene. They interviewed all the people. They didn't waste no time. As if any of you have watched the greatest crime show of all time, the mother of all and king of all crime shows, Hill Street Blues, what did Captain Furillo do? First of all, when they had a situation like this, they bum rushed everybody. They tried to interview everybody. They didn't want anyone to lawyer up. And then his wife, who was the head public defender, she would come in and say, "Did you talk to my client yet?" "No, yeah, we were just discussing things," but that's what you had to do. And that's what they did. If I were a couple of these people, I would have lawyered up. And immediately, I wouldn't have talked to anybody because they didn't have to, but they all spilled their guts and they incriminated themselves. And we'll talk about that. Aiden Mendoza, I believe, was the sheriff, and he did a great job in the press conference. The media wanted all his conjecture and sexy and salacious opinions and stuff, and he didn't. He just went for the facts. He did a great job. A 911 call was done at 1:48 p.m., and the cops came at 2. Ambulance at 2:01. It was in the boonies, so it took a little bit. There was a limited amount of staff. The church that they did the scene in, and Helena Hutchins was shot, and Joel Souza, the director, was shot, was in the church area, which is very small. 100 people were on set, but only a handful of people were in the church. They did collect 3 firearms, 500 rounds of ammunition, spent shell casings, and projectiles were also recovered. They also feel that some were live rounds, but they're having them investigated at the FBI crime lab. Now, one bullet did this damage. The bullet that hit Helena went through her, ricocheted through her, and hit Joel Souza in the shoulder. When a bullet does hit you, that's what happens. It goes off of bones, whatever, and it's messy. I was in respiratory care, and I worked a lot of ER in the East Bay during the gang wars, and you see a lot of shootings, a lot of craziness, a lot of damage, and it's just amazing what damage a bullet can do. When she did get hit, she said immediately, "I can't feel my legs." And her friend Serge Svetnoy, who we'll talk about later, was the gaffer, which is pretty much the head electrician, very important part in a movie. He grabbed her, held her in his arms while she bled, and some people came to her aid, but she was literally dying. So just very sad situation. But the round that was recovered from Mr. Souza was a live round. Let's go through all the rounds. A dummy round, or what they call a drill round, is a round that is completely inert, contains no primer, propellant, or explosive charge. A dummy is not to be confused with a blank. A blank cartridge is for a firearm that contains propellant and a primer, but no bullet or buckshot. A dummy does not produce an explosive sound. Now, this is important. When you use a dummy, you have to CGI create the sounds. That costs money. When you use a blank, it creates a sound. Now, sometimes if the cartridge doesn't come out of when you use a blank, that could also be a projectile and be very dangerous. When we're talking about the cost of the movie, that's interesting. There are movie sets that I'm sure still use a lot of live rounds where they use mostly blanks. A live round should never be on a movie set. That's what's so troubling. And we'll talk about Hannah and what's happening with her and some of the other ones, and Dave Halls as well. So, and a live round should never be on a set. Now let's get to that. The two people in charge of the weapons was Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer in charge of the weapons. And what they're in charge of is the safety of the weapons, making sure that they're safe to use, the storage of the weapons and the ammo. Very important role. Armorers never really came into vogue until the 80s. Usually the prop guys used them, but when the scenes were getting more violent, they were using more weapons, more violence going on. They realized they needed gun experts on set. Hannah's father, if you're in the movie industry, you definitely know who Theo Reed is. He is one of the icons of the film industry in regards to weaponry. He's an expert. He even when he's not an armorer, he gets asked to be a consultant. He's just kind of like a legend. I'm sure nepotism played a role, and let's not get into the nepotism with Hollywood, which is a huge deal. But Hannah was only 24 years old, had never had any experience, and the first job she ever got was a movie with Nicolas Cage. So she went on. Stu Brumbaugh, who was the key grip on the Nicolas Cage movie The Old Way, which was Hannah's first job, said that there was instances with Hannah and people really complained after when you bring on a weapon, you're supposed to tell the cast you have a weapon or you have ammo, whatever, so they could be ready and be safe and everybody knows what's going on. But she would go on set and sometimes she would just shoot the guns to check them without telling anybody. So she did it once next to Nicolas Cage and he went nuts. And he says, make an announcement screaming at her. You just blew my eardrums out. He then walked off set in a rage and went to the assistant director and says, she needs to be let go. She needs to be gone. And they didn't fire her, but she did it again. And he said, we were moving too fast. I was so ticked off, but we were moving too fast. And she was a rookie and she couldn't keep up. Another interesting situation was Gutierrez did a podcast before The Old Way. And here's where exact quotes. I was really nervous about it at first, and I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it, it went really smoothly. And it didn't go smoothly. But she said I did a good job and it went smoothly and everything was okay. And that wasn't the case. The other one that was in charge of the weapons of the Rust is Assistant Director David Halls. Now, he was famous in 2003. I believe he did one of the Matrix movies. He was the assistant director on the Matrix movies. So he has experience, but he also has a history. It said in 2019, there was actually a situation where a gun went off on a movie he did, and the producers talked to Rolling Stone about it. The movie was called Freedom's Path, and one of the producers says, I can confirm that Dave Halls was fired from the set of Freedom Path in 2019 after a crew member incurred a minor and temporary injury when a gun was unexpectedly discharged. Halls was removed from set immediately after the prop gun discharge. Here's the funny situation. The production team would not resume filming until Dave was completely off site. An incident report was taken and filled at the time. So a gun went off accidentally, hit somebody, minor injuries, and for them to waste money, for him to pack up, get all his stuff for the movie, his clothes, whatever, and they're not going to resume filming until he's completely off the set. That says a lot. That's like, we want you gone. So that was not good. Now, in regards to Hannah, she also had a situation. I don't know if she's a party girl, but she made news where her landlord wants her evicted. I guess her house is really dilapidated. It's kind of beat up. It looks like it's had a couple parties in it. She just said, I want her out. And another situation, Hannah, her insurance company had to pay $50,000 in a wrongful death situation where her boyfriend, who had a DUI, got drunk, as you do, and they were at a party, I guess, or just drinking, and they all got drunk. He asked her for her keys to her motorcycle. She said, sure, gave them to him. He went riding with a friend. They wrecked, the friend died, and her insurance company had to pay $50,000 because she knowingly gave him the keys when he couldn't drive because he had a DUI. You have to have that special breathalyzer thing that proves you don't have any alcohol in your system. And she didn't have that. So, a little flippant, irresponsible. Another thing on set of her movie with Nicolas Cage, they said that she was holding multiple guns sometimes, and she would point them at people, and she would have them under her arms. So when she, pointing backwards, so if she was walking, whoever was behind her, the guns were pointing at them, and just people were just terrified of her kind of because she was just so flippant. She said in interviews also that guns aren't that dangerous. Guns are no big deal. I want people not to be scared of guns. She just had a flippant attitude. And of course, we have her TikTok and Instagram photos of her looking tough with guns in her hands and kind of looking the part, the sexy Instagram part. And it's just a bad look. So I would never have someone like this on set to do a movie, let alone a rookie. And we'll get into that later. But David Hall's also, both of them have their issues when they spoke to police. They spoke to New Mexico police. David Hall's admitted, I didn't check all the chambers. Now, you're supposed to. Now, some directors came out and said what they do is they have a special flashlight and they go through the chambers. And some actors demand that the assistant director show them the chambers, that they're empty, there's no blank cartridge in it. They just want to make sure that they're clear. So when they use them for props, that it's going to be safe. Now, he admitted I didn't do that. Now, another scathing situation is Hannah, who's in charge of all the weapons, told the New Mexico police no live ammo is on set. It will never be on set. And they found live ammo on set. And obviously they were shot. The two that were shot with live ammo. So for her to say that statement is just very incriminating. That's why if I was Hannah and David Halls, I would have lawyered up so fast and made their head spin. I would have said, I don't want to talk. Now you look in Florida where it took them weeks to get it took time to get a search warrant. I mean, come on. New Mexico, there was so much just cause there. It was just like I said, Florida is its own world, but still, that was ridiculous. Now you look at the New Mexico where they got things in hours. They didn't mess around. They created a crime scene with this, and that's exactly what you do. It doesn't matter if it's on a set. Now, the gaffer, as we talked about, Serge Svetnoy, and I hope I'm not destroying his name. He was friends with Helena. With Helena Hutchins. He was with her while she died, and it just very traumatized him. He went home and did a post that is getting very popular with the movie industry, and they are actually, a lot of people are sharing it. I've seen actors and producers now sharing it, and it's just a heart-wrenching situation. He pretty much blamed the armorer and producers like Alec Baldwin for the shooting. He's very upset about it. He worked with her most of his career with Helena and was very huge friends with them. And he said the negligence from the person who was supposed to check the weapons on the site did not do this. The person who had to announce that the loaded gun was on the site did not do this. The person who should have checked the weapon before bringing it to the set did not do this. And the result is the death of a human. And it says also, I'm sure that we had professionals in every department but one, the department that was responsible for the weapons. There's no way a 24-year-old can be a professional with armory. There is no way that her more or less the same age friend from school, neighborhood, Instagram, or God knows where else she found her, can be a professional in this field. Professionals are the people who have spent years on sets, people who know this job from A to Z. These are the people who have the safety on set at the level of reflexes. They do not need to be told what to do. They have it in their blood. I'm calling out the producers. And it keeps going on. And it really, people are just really applauding it. It says, and finally, dear producers, please remember that it's not you who are giving the opportunities to the people you hire to make their money. It's the people you hire who help you make your money. He also thanked Reed Russell, who was the camera operator who had helped Helena, and also, the medic that was on set, just horrible situation. Charlene Schaefer, who tried to do anything to save Helena's life. And his last statement was just, we all loved Helena. May God bless her soul, and she rest in peace, and God protect us all, which pretty much means there's a lot of danger on this set. He has some pictures of him, beautiful lady, seemed like sweetheart, and everybody really adored her. So, and Alec Baldwin obviously didn't mean to shoot her, but what he's trying to say is that the cutting the corners, and there's rumors that they were in a Marriott for the first half a week. And then after a while, after a few days, they were moved to a budget hotel. And that's when people started realizing these guys have no money. And some even left because there was concerns. People did walk off set due to safety reasons. People walked off set because they weren't getting paid. This was a train wreck. This was unorganized. Is thrown together. And what we have to realize in today's TV and movie world, that this is what it is. There's so much need for content because there's so many outlets. Everybody and their mother's making a movie. So you got to produce it quick and cheap. And that's exactly what they did. That's why the quality in Hollywood has been pretty bad. I mean, when a foreign film for the first time in history wins the Academy Award because American movies are so bad, it's just really a sad take. It's just remakes and superheroes. They're doing another Ghostbusters. Anyone think we need that? It's just incredible. So I feel so bad for Helena's family, for all Helena Hutchins' family. We wish them all well, prayers, support to them. It's just such a sad situation, but we're going to be following this. It's going to be a daily thing, I think, because so much is happening. Please follow us on Twitter, where we post a lot about these. Florence does a great job in the Gabby Petito situation. So please follow us, support us, and thank you. We're doing this for you because it's 2:30 in the morning right now. And I'm doing this and I got to edit it. But I wanted to make sure that we get this out for you because we try so hard for you guys. And thank you for all your support. Take care. Thank you for all your support. Take care. Have a good day.